James Earl Jones carried a secret for 47 years. The man behind Darth Vader's voice had a reason for staying away from Star Wars reunions that no one saw coming. It wasn't about money or fame. It was about something that happened during the original filming. Something that made him feel like an outsider among his own cast. When Disney offered him millions to return, he said no. At 93, he finally explained why. His answer reveals a painful truth about Hollywood that will shock you. James Earl Jones was born on January 17, 1931 in Arabutla, Mississippi. It was a tiny, rural town in the heart of the Great Depression. His roots were a mix of African American, Irish, and Cherokee, which gave him a deep cultural background, but also brought confusion about where he truly belonged. His mother, Ruth Connolly Jones, worked as a teacher and maid. His father, Robert Earl Jones, left the family when James was just a baby. He went to New York to become an actor and boxer, chasing dreams while leaving his son behind in a town where most black families earned less than $300 a year. It was a hard time in a hard place, and James never forgot that feeling of being left behind. The pain of that abandonment lasted for decades. James didn't see his father again until he was in his 30s. Already a known actor himself, they met on a film set. Surprisingly, they not only spoke, they ended up working together in movies like Gabriel's Fire. They had nearly 40 years together before Robert passed away in 2006 at the age of 96. Still, nothing could erase the silence James had carried since childhood. That silence wasn't just emotional, it was literal. From the age of 6 to 14, James could barely speak. His stutter was so severe that he stopped trying altogether. He wrote notes, nodded, pointed. Teachers thought he might be mentally challenged. Classmates avoided him or spoke over him. He called those years his mute years. The few times he tried to talk, his face twisted, his mouth locked up, and the words wouldn't come. It was lonely, and it was terrifying. When James was 5, his grandparents moved the family to a farm in Dublin, Michigan. The change was meant to help, but it made things worse. Their farm was huge, 40 acres, but felt empty and cold. There was no electricity until 1942, no plumbing until 1945. Winters were brutal, and the work was constant. He had to wake up before dawn to milk cows, chop wood, and shovel snow. His grandfather believed in discipline through hard labor. But for James, the worst part wasn't the cold or the chores. It was the silence. His stutter got worse in the quiet isolation of that Michigan farm. Even worse was what happened inside the house. His grandmother, Maggie Connolly, had painful views about race. Though she was mixed race herself, she favored lighter skin and good hair, and she didn't hide her feelings. She often made comments that left James feeling ashamed of how he looked. Those remarks coming from someone who was supposed to love and protect him cut deep. At school, things weren't much better. His teachers didn't know what to do with a boy who wouldn't speak. One of them, Donald Crouch, thought he might be faking when he saw a poem James had written. It was too good, so Crouch asked him to stand in front of the class and read it out loud. James was terrified, but when he began to recite, something happened. The rhythm of the poem helped him speak without stuttering. It was the first time he'd felt control over his voice. Crouch saw something in that moment and didn't let it go. He pushed James hard. He made him read out loud every day, perform in speech contests, and even speak in front of strangers. These exercises were exhausting. James would sweat, shake, and sometimes cry from the effort. He got headaches and sore throats, but he kept going. He practiced tongue twisters, breathing drills, and voice warm-ups every day. It wasn't gentle, and it wasn't easy, but it worked. By the time James reached high school, he wasn't just speaking, he was leading. In 1947, he was elected class vice president. He gave speeches, led meetings, and even hosted the graduation ceremony the following year. His grades jumped from barely passing to a solid 3.7 GPA. New students had no idea he had Once gone years without speaking, he joined the drama and debate clubs, spoke at church gatherings, and won over crowds with confidence. It was a full transformation, but it didn't happen overnight. The speech therapy that helped him change wouldn't be allowed. Today, Crouch's methods were harsh. Sometimes James had to stand in front of the class for hours speaking through the pain. Other times, he had to perform in front of townspeople at community events. But the numbers tell the story. Within a year, his stutter dropped by 15% each month. By 1947, he could talk for 15 minutes straight without slipping. Just a few years earlier, he couldn't say his own name. James Earl Jones started college at the University of Michigan in 1949. He wanted to become a doctor. He signed up as a pre-med student and also joined the ROC. But everything changed during his second year. He failed a chemistry exam with a score of 38 out of 100. That failure crushed him. It made him realize he wasn't meant to work in science. In 1951, almost by accident, he walked into a drama class. The professor saw something special right away. His voice was deep and powerful. That class changed everything. He was given a role in a play called The Rivals. And when he spoke, the room fell silent. People were shocked at how natural he was on stage. That moment quietly changed the future of American theater, even though he didn't realize it yet. At the same time, Jones was making waves on the basketball court. From 1949 to 1953, he played for Michigan's team. He was 6 feet 1 inch tall, 190 pounds, and fast. He averaged 14.2 points per game. In his junior year, he hit 67% of his free throws. His best game came in 1952 when he scored 34 points against Ohio State. Scouts noticed him. A team that would later become the Chicago Bulls sent someone to check him out. But by senior year, something shifted. He wasn't fully present on the court anymore. He played well, scoring 12 points in his final game, but he looked distant. Later, he admitted that he felt like the stage was pulling him away from sports. Basketball was just a distraction from what he truly loved. In 1953, Jones became a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He served until 1955 during the last part of the Korean War. He trained at Fort Benning and was later sent to Korea in early 1954. He led a platoon of 40 men. Some of them struggled to take orders from a black officer.